Ria TV, True FM.
Say Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV,
into True FM 96.1.
what's the meaning of the black barrier? The black barrier is to tell Joseph Bakala, if you don't organize yourself in a grateful manner, we'll take your plate.
You might say what you want to say, but for us, we are here to make sure we build our country, that we are respected. We have donors that are coming because of the confidence.
Some news summary of 12. My name is Hansen there represent.
Welcome to News and Analysis, 30 minutes of news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and our one world.
Presenting this newscast is proudly sponsored by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited.
How is life after the presidency?
But before the presidency, the same life, that's what you see. I have a different life. You know, when I was not president, this life, that's what I live, you know, with my family and
I have a lot of interest in the health sector, the educational sector, and the agriculture sector. Roads, connecting roads in this country.
We are calling international community to come to intervene for us because, like I just stated previously, we don't know who to trust.
Always make sure to turn on to our
Ria TV and listening to True FM 96.1.
Ria TV, True FM.
Say Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV,
into True FM 96.1.
what's the meaning of the black barrier? The black barrier is to tell Joseph Bakala, if you don't organize yourself in a grateful manner, we'll take your plate.
You might say what you want to say, but for us, we are here to make sure we build our country, that we are respected. We have donors that are coming because of the confidence.
A pleasant good evening from Dupuro. Welcome to News Desk, 45 minutes of news from Liberia and other parts of the world. Today is Tuesday, November 26, 2024. My name is Marka Davis. Presenting this news program is powered by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited. The top stories we are following tonight: absence of Deputy Speaker Thomas Fowler in majority section raises huge speculations as Representative Salfoko discloses that Fowler would join in battle Speaker Kofa on Thursday. In continuous efforts to mitigate the impacts of climate change, government of Liberia through the Finance Ministry launches climate integration and financing office for resource mobilization. Senator Sir Joseph proposes the establishment of what he calls a special need fund at the Ministry of Health with the allotment of $10 million United States dollars in the budget to cater to the increasing wave of emergency cases across the country. And out of Liberia, Kenya less open to visitors despite visa-free policy, the BBC is reporting. The details of these developments, including the bulletin of news, voices of the newsmakers, sports, are all part of this presentation. We're taking a short break to be back.
Ria TV, True FM.
Say Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV,
into True FM 96.1.
For rejoining us, let's cross over now to Naketa Roberts for the news bulletin.
President Joseph Boakai has by proclamation declared this Friday, November 29, 2024, as the 129th birth anniversary of William V. Stockman to be observed as a national holiday throughout the country. According to a Foreign Ministry release, the proclamation states that at the third section of the 42nd Legislature of the Republic of Liberia, an act was passed declaring November 29 of every year to be celebrated as the birth anniversary of the 18th President of Liberia, William V. Torgbean. The act is in recognition of his productive, meaningful services and policies, including the integration policy, the granting of suffrage to women, as well as the national policy on many other socio-economic development, and his contributions to the emancipation of Africa colonial territories into statehood. The proclamation further stresses profound changes and lasting accomplishment made during President Tubman's administration, hereby ordering all government offices, business houses, and marketplaces to be closed on Friday, November 29, from 6 o'clock a.m. to 6 o'clock p.m. In what appears to be legitimizing the recent controversial election of Representative Richard Cohen as Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Liberian Senate has begun doing business with the majority bloc. This was evident on Tuesday when Senate wrote the majority bloc seeking their concurrence on two major legislative instruments. The bills include an act amending the maritime law and restating an act to create an independent seaport and inland ports regulatory authority. The act, when passed, will provide for the regulation of sustainable development of seaports and inland ports operation and services in Liberia. Additionally, the Senate is seeking the House's endorsement of the Liberian Sea and Inland Ports Decentralization and Modernization Act. If amended, the national legislature, these acts will establish independent seaports and inland ports. The legislative measures will regulate and promote sustainable development of operations and services at seaports and inland ports throughout Liberia. According to RCI reporter at the House of Representatives, the bills have been sent to the Committee on Maritime, Judiciary, and Ways, Means, and Finance for review. In another news, the absence of the Deputy Speaker Thomas Falla from the majority bloc session without an excuse letter has led to speculations that CDC lawmakers may have returned to the main chamber under the leadership of embattled Speaker Fonati Kofar. In an open interview, Representative Safoko indicated that former President George Weah has returned to the country and has promptly convened a meeting with CDC lawmakers. Representative Foko said the former president has called on all CDC lawmakers to return to the main chamber of the House of Representatives. Representative Foko asserted that the former president's influence will help Kofar in maintaining a quorum and presiding over sessions. However, no detail has emerged from the meeting called by former President Weah on Tuesday. The Ministry of Finance and Development Planning has officially launched its Climate Integration and Financing Office intended to attract funds for protecting the nation from climate change effects. Speaking at the launch of the Climate Integration and Financing Office in Painesville, the Deputy Finance Minister for Budget and Development Planning, Tenen Broson, said the initiative marks a milestone in combating climate change in Liberia. Deputy Minister Broson acknowledged the dangerous nature of climate change, naming rising temperature, erratic rainfall, coastal erosion, and extreme weather events, among others, as a global challenge, stating that its impact is mostly felt on countries at the low income levels. She expressed confidence that with the launch of the office, it will seek to generate and safeguard funds needed to mitigate and adapt systems of climate change in the country. According to her, the ministry, through the Climate Integration and Financing Office, will collaborate with relevant institutions and foreign partners to fast-track key strategies and ensure the success of the initiative. Giving an overview of the office, Foded Bayon, the climate change finance person at the ministry, noted that the move is meant to put Liberia in line with neighboring countries in raising funds to target climate change as a global concern. For their part, international partners, including the World Bank, the European Union, and USAID, among others, expressed their support to the office and commended the government for its strides in the fight against climate change. The European Union ambassador, Nonant Depraz, described the move as significant and expressed the body's full support. The launch was held under the theme Building Synergies in Climate Change Mainstreaming, operationalizing the Climate Integration and Financing Office for National Development and Resource Mobilization. Maserati County Senator Sir Joseph is proposing the establishment of what he calls a special needs funds at the Ministry of Health to cater to the increasing wave of emergency cases across the country. He also wants the government to put 10 million United States dollars in the national budget for the special needs funds. According to Senator Joseph, the allotment is intended to purchase medical equipment that will cater to the rise in emergency cases in the country. The Maserati County Senator said Liberians are dying across the country due to the lack of medical equipment that's to address these increasing health emergencies. According to him, as the draft national budget is before the legislature, there is a need for such allotment to be made to handle those challenges, that's challenging cases when reported. He maintained that it is the responsibility of the government to provide better healthcare services for its citizens. Meanwhile, plenary, through a motion filed by Lofa County Senator Momo Saros, endorsed the concern raised by Senator Sir Joseph and forwarded the communication to the Health Committee for review. The Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs is continuing with confirmation hearings for individuals recently nominated by President Joseph Boakai to ambassadorial roles in several countries. On Tuesday, the 48-day sitting of the Senate, the committee quizzed 3 of the nominees: Edward Apperton, ambassador designate to Japan; Alid Salid, ambassador designate to Senegal; and Joseph Johnson, ambassador designate to Morocco. In his opening statement, Edward Apperton vowed to work with the Japanese government to encourage investment that will accelerate Liberia's growth and development. Apperton, who contested in the 2023 presidential election on the grassroots development movement, said he will ensure that the staff at the Liberia Embassy in Japan are trained and well equipped as they work to promote sustainable development. For their part, Joseph Johnson, ambassador designate to Morocco, and Ali Saleh, nominated to the Liberian mission in Senegal, outlined how their representation in Senegal and Morocco will boost Liberia's bilateral relationship to enhance development. The Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia, CENTAR, has called on President Joseph Boakai to take timely and decisive administrative actions against government officials found in the act of corruption and abuse of their offices. CENTAR is recommending the removal of the acting chairperson of the Liberia Telecommunications Authority, Abdullah Kamara, and dismissal of Doug Cooper, Inspector General of the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and acts against other accused of grave acts of corruption and other abuses. Speaking on Tuesday at a press conference, CENTAR Executive Director Addison Myean called on President Boakai to also suspend and dismiss public officials who have knowingly and recklessly refused to declare their assets, incomes, and liabilities in violation of the Code of Conduct. Myean admitted that as part of the broader efforts to break away from business as usual, the Unity Party-led administration has made strides in promoting good governance and other efforts across the government, but stressed that the process must be holistic. He maintained the issue of payroll and credential audits that have led to the removal of ghost name from the government's payroll, establishment of the Office of War and Economic Crimes Court, and the commissioning of audits that have further shed light on corruption in public services as some strides made by the Unity Party government. And away from Liberia, Kenya has plugged in the latest ranking of how open it is to visitors from other African countries, despite introducing a visa-free policy earlier this year. It dropped 17 places to 6, that's 46 out of 74 nations, according to 2024 Africa Visa Openness Index. Last year, President William Ruto was highly praised after announcing that Kenya would drop visa requirements for all visitors from the continent. But in their place, most travelers now have to apply online for authorization before leaving their country, which some have criticized as a visa on another name. The system known as Electronic Travel Authorization or ETA determines if applicants are eligible to travel to Kenya and can take up to 3 days to be processed. Citizens from the East African country, that's Community Regional Bloc, are exempt. The AVOR reported that's supported by the African Union and run by the African Development Bank Group evaluates accessibility to African countries based on visa policy. That's our CR News Bulletin. Is back to you, Marka.
Ria TV, True FM.
Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV,
into True FM 96.1.
What's the meaning of the black barrier? The black barrier is to tell Joseph Bakala if you don't organize yourself in a grateful manner, we'll keep up later.
You might say what you want to say, but for us, we are here to make sure we build our country, that we are respected. We have donors that are coming because of the confidence.
News summary at 12. My name is Hansen Der Represent.
Welcome to News and Analysis 30 minutes of news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and our one world.
Presenting this newscast is proudly sponsored by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited.
Thanks to Naketa Roberts for bringing us the news bulletin tonight. It is the regular feature here on News Desk. If you're just joining us in one of the top stories we are following tonight, in continuous efforts to mitigate the impact of climate change, the government of Liberia, through the Finance Ministry, launches Climate Integration and Financing Office for Resource Mobilization. Let's go for our first development. The absence of Deputy Speaker Thomas Fala from the majority section on Tuesday without an excuse letter has led to speculations that CDC lawmakers may return to the main chamber under the leadership of embattled House Speaker Fonati Kofa. In an open interview, Representative Foko indicated that former President George Weah has returned to the country and has promptly convened a meeting with the lawmakers. Foko said the former president has called on all CDC lawmakers to return to the main chambers of the House of Representatives, stating that by Thursday, the Deputy Speaker, Thomas Fala, who had been presiding over the majority black prior to the controversial election of Representative Rachel Kuhn as Speaker, would join them on Thursday.
Thomas Fala and all the CDC laws will join us with President George Weah is in Liberia, and we will honor the importance of George Weah in Liberia. So, gentlemen, thank you. I'm going to speak George Weah now. Just invite our voice, George.
He is Monserrato County District 9 Representative Frank Foko there speaking briefly with reporters at the House of Representatives on Tuesday when he said they were going to meet the former president. However, there has been no details from the meeting held with the president on today. For his part, one of the members of the majority bloc, Representative Clarence Garmy, maintained that Speaker Kofa's term is over as Speaker of the House. He said what is going on at the House of Representatives is political, not civil or a criminal matter to require the intervention of the Supreme Court. He also spoke with reporters at the Capitol today.
And then immediately on the judicial branch, we ended up now moving to this what other countries? There are some procedure. And I was immediately. We are putting a political system here, not a criminal matter. The process is now these two people over there. You can never see in this country. We are being we gave it due constituted the number. It's not just being here as people who have that resolution. Are they denying a signature? No. Are they denying that the sign is not solution? No. Are they denying the solution to their majority? This is what long time on the body. The action is restricted. You restrict that. Choose on the Supreme Person. The Lord is by you. You read the Constitution, read Article 1, read Article 8, it is. Article 8, let's talk about a vote in the case of state of emergency. Article 49, not required by anybody to be present. Your signature is a record as a one. You can be present if you don't in the house. Once you sign on a signature, it means that I think about when will you return to the meeting? Which the meeting. Here's why you are deceived. We have 5 months in the legislature. 2 is from my Senate, 2 is from my House. The judge is the Supreme Chamber. We have 5 months. 2 is from the Senate, 2 is from my House. Primary determine where to have to, not the speaker or anybody. Primary decided to use the Supreme Chamber. Now when you got to know, I'm educated now. Which Chamber you prefer to be a new Chamber? I'm a member of the legislature. I decide which Chamber, not you as a journalist. Who are you to become my
He is a member of the majority bloc, Margibi County District 5 Representative Clarence Garmy, interacting with legislative reporters at the Capitol today. In another news, in what appears to be legitimizing the recent controversial election of Representative Richard Coon as Speaker of the House, the Liberian Senate has begun doing business with the majority bloc. This was evident on Tuesday when the Senate wrote the majority bloc seeking their concurrence on 2 major legislative instruments. The bills including an act amending the maritime law and restating an act to create an independent seaport and inland port regulatory authority. This act, according to the Senate, when passed, will provide for the regulation and sustainable development of seaports and inland ports in Liberia. Additionally, the Senate is seeking the House's endorsement of the Liberia Sea and Inland Port Decentralization and Modernization Act. If amended by the national legislature, these acts will establish independent seaports and inland ports in the country. The Ministry of Finance and Development Planning has officially launched its Climate Integration and Financing Office intended to attract funds for protecting the nation from the impact of climate change. Speaking at the launch of the Climate Integration and Financing Office in Painesville, the Deputy Finance Minister for Budget and Development Planning, Tannen Bronson, said the initiative marks a milestone in combating climate change in Liberia. Deputy Minister Bronson acknowledged the dangerous nature of climate change, naming rising temperature, erratic rainfall, coastal erosion, and extreme weather events, among others, as a global challenge, stating that its impact is mostly felt on countries at the lower income levels.
Today, we gather to celebrate the official launch of the Climate Integration and Financing Office, a milestone that represents our shared commitment to building a future where the people and the planet thrive together. The of this office marks a new chapter in Liberia's the urgent challenge posed by climate change. We are also familiar with the impact of climate change, rising temperatures, erratic rainfall, coastal erosions, and extreme weather events. These changes are not just abstract concepts, they are real threats to our communities, our economy, and our way of life. But today, ladies and gentlemen, we are taking a bold step forward. The climate change integration and financing office will serve as a beacon of hope, hub for innovation, collaboration, guide research mobilization of funds to mitigate and adapt to the effects of climate change. This office is expected to streamline efforts, align our strategies, and catalyze the funding required to protect and preserve our beautiful nature for generations to come. As you may know, climate change is a global challenge. Its impact is felt most acutely at the local level. That is why we must tailor our solutions to fit the unique context of Liberia, leveraging our local expertise, resources, and traditional knowledge, operating global expertise can build a resilient and sustainable future that is rooted in our strengths.
Giving an overview of the office, Fode Bayo, the climate change finance focal person at the Ministry of Finance, noted that the move is intended to put Liberia in line with neighboring countries in raising funds to target or to tackle climate change as a global concern. For their part, international partners, including the World Bank, European Union, and USAID, among others, expressed their support to the office and commended the government of Liberia for its strive in the fight against climate change. The European Union ambassador, Nona DePrez, described the move as significant and expressed the body's full support.
So I want to laud this very timely event, the launch, which just comes after the final declaration and agreement on COP29 on Baku, where the European Union has spearheaded the efforts to mobilize international financing on climate financing, 100 billion by 2030, and also where there has been an international agreement on the carbon market. So I think you all know that climate change is really the priority for the European Union and for the European Union. Our European Green Deal is really our comprehensive economic development strategy to address climate change. It's our commitment to become the first climate neutral continent by 2050. And we are on a path to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by at least 55% by 2030. And by 2050, we will reach net zero emissions. And for us, within the EU, these goals are legally binding through our European climate law, which ensures accountability across each of our EU member states.
She is European Union Ambassador to Liberia, Lona DePrez, there speaking. Earlier on, you listened to Deputy Finance Minister for Budget and Development Planning, Tanya Brunson. They spoke at that's the official launch of the Climate Integration and Financing Office in Pinsville today. The launch was held under the theme Building Synergies for Climate Change Mainstreaming, operationalizing the Climate Integration and Financing Office for National Development and Resource Mobilization. Monserrato County Senator Sir Joseph is proposing the establishment of what he calls a special need funds at the Ministry of Health to cater to the increasing wave of emergency cases across the country. He also wants the government to put 10 million United States dollars in the national budget for the special need funds. According to Senator Joseph, the allotment is intended to purchase medical equipment that will cater to the rising emergency cases across the country.
Equipment to one hospital to make sure that they have all the equipment and specialties that they can do the job and bring it in individuals to help. I think approximately of 5 billion can do that. In the meantime, getting 5 million, additional 5 million to be able to send those cases out that can be put out, that is now to start helping. So I'm going to be police for $10 million in the national $10 million budget, which is nothing. This government, we as a government, just we cannot do. We represent it, and these are we have to work in it. So I'm requesting for $10 million as a special needs fund to empower medical doctors, equip one major hospital, and also use another $5 million to facilitate our citizens in making sure travel expenses, cost of the surgeries that they will be doing, feeding, whatever that will be able to help. I think we need to focus on now making sure that our citizens feel the impact of the budget positively, directly.
He is Monserrado County Senator Sir Joseph there speaking today in Monrovia, proposing the establishment of what he calls a special need fund with $10 million allotment in the budget to cater to emergency cases across the country. To this development, about 50,000 worshippers are expected to grace the global crusade with Kumoye beginning this Thursday at the Samuel Kayando Sports Complex in Painesville. Renowned Nigerian preacher and founder of the Deeper Christian Life Ministry is hosting the crusade in collaboration with the Body of Christ in Liberia. The country coordinator, Pastor Soji Ajayi Albert, has been explaining what impact the crusade will have on the country.
This nation is going to experience, number one, the face of Christianity in this nation will be changed permanently. Personally, I don't want to castigate Christianity as a new practice now, but I want to say that after this GCK, the face of Christianity, the nomenclature of Christianity, the architecture of Christianity, of the faith, will be changed for good. That's number one. Number two, there will be a release from the bondage of limitations by the forces we do not see and we do not know. No matter how the government is trying to help the nation to grow, there can be invisible forces that are not willing this nation to make it, to make progress, to make up. This is the oldest nation in Africa. The first nation to be independent is Mama Africa. And if it's a Mama Africa, it should be taught. Whatever is keeping the nation down will be overthrown after GCK, and Liberia will take its position in Africa as the mother of free nations.
He is the coordinator of the Global Crusade with Kumoye, starting this Thursday at the SKD Sports Complex in Painesville. The crusade or activities marking the crusade will also include a ministers' conference on Friday and a youth conference on Saturday. He also disclosed that there will be free medical services, including surgeries offered to people who are suffering with other diseases in the country. If you're just joining us, you are listening to News Desk, 45 minutes of news from Liberia and other parts of the world. We broadcast here from Dupont Road in Painesville outside Monrovia. In the top stories we are following tonight, absence of Deputy Speaker Thomas Falla in the majority section today raises huge speculations as Representative Foko discloses Falla will join the Battle House Speaker Kopa next week. In continuous efforts to mitigate the impact of climate change, Government of Liberia, through the Finance Ministry, launches Climate Integration and Financing Office for Resource Mobilization. Senator Sir Joseph proposes the establishment of what he calls a special need fund at the Ministry of Health with the allotment of $10 million to cater to the increasing wave of emergency cases across the country. And of the home front, Kenya less open to visitors despite visa-free policy, according to the BBC. We're taking a short break to be back.
Ria TV, True FM.
Say Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV,
into Truth FM 96.1.
What's the meaning of the black barrel?
The black
pictures on the news presentation. Let's now bring in Naomi Tapia with sports tonight.
Good evening, Marka. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Passion of Life. The 2024 Awards Committee of the Liberia Football Association has set December 7, 2024 as the official date for the awards ceremony. Making the disclosure on Tuesday at the headquarters of the LFA, the chairman of the committee, Ambassador Chris Onanunga, asserted that this year's ceremony will comprise Fair Play Team, Young Player of the Year, Best Referee, Best Coach, Best Defender, Foreign Player of the Year, Most Valuable Player of the Year, and Best Reporter, including Photographer of the Year, respectively. According to the chairman, the awards program will be done in two phases, namely an indoor and outdoor events, beginning with entertainment and the main event. The men's second division MVP nominees are Matthew Till Williams of Ghana FC, Jonathan Freeman of Discourix FC, Augustine Deyuga of Blackmail Warriors, Momo Blamo of Shatter FC. And in the men's first division category, Clement Zuma of Mighty Barrow, Ishmael Dumbuya of B Mountain, Emmanuel C of Watanga FC, Nosh Zou of Mighty Barrow, Abdullahi Jayability of Heaven 11 were nominated. In the upper women's category, Mabendo Kamara of Determined Girls, Makassian Sion of Raffia Angels, Erika Parson of Shatter Angels, and Mbatse Dabo of Determined Girls were all nominated. The Liberia Football Association Upper Women's League continued on Tuesday, with Real Muja defeating Bushra Queens 42 goals, while Ambassador bowed to senior female professionals 2-0 at yesterday's post-complex practice pitch. Rebecca Tab sealed all 3 points for Tarako Girls. Rafa Angels Football Club won War Girls 2-1 to end out of the upper women's fixtures for Tuesday. And international developments, former Argentina, Liverpool, and Barcelona midfielder Javier Mascherano has been appointed head coach of Major League Soccer side Inter Miami. The 40-year-old, who also played for River Plate and West Ham, has signed a 3-year contract to the end of 2027 MLS season. He succeeds Gerardo Martino, who stepped down last week for personal reasons. The move sees him reunited with former Argentina and Barcelona teammate Lionel Messi, who joined Miami in July 2023. Throughout his career as one of the world's best players and as an experienced coach, Javier has always demonstrated what makes him great: relentless determination with the knowledge, instincts, and understanding to back it up, said Inter Miami co-owner David Beckham. Mascherano said to be able to lead a club like Inter Miami, it is an honor for him and a privilege he will strive to make the most of. The Argentine won 21 honors during his club career, including 5 La Liga titles and 2 Champions Leagues with Barcelona. Mascherano made 147 appearances for Argentina, the second most capped player in his country's history behind Messi, including 4 World Cups, reaching the final in 2014, where they lost to Germany and Zambia. And Orlando Pride forward Barbara Banda has been voted BBC Women's Footballer of the Year. She received the most votes from readers of the BBC Sport website after a 5-player shortlist was announced last month. The shortlist, based on performances from September 2023 to August 2024, was selected by a large panel of experts involved in football around the world, including coaches, players, administrators, and non-BBC journalists. Banda scored 4 goals for Zambia at the Paris Olympics this summer, including a first-half hat-trick against Australia, to become the leading African goal scorer in the Olympic history with 10. She scored 13 goals for part in 2024 National Women's Soccer League, the NWSL regular season, despite only joining in March, and 4 goals in the playoffs, including the winning goal in the championship final on Saturday as Orlando Pride won their maiden title. Banda was also named most valuable player in the NWSL. That's all was this.
Now, Tapia was posted on News Dex in one of the stories we're following tonight. The Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia has called on President Joseph Boakai to take timely and decisive administrative actions against government officials found in acts of corruption and abuse of their offices. Central is recommending the removal of the acting chairperson of the Liberia Telecommunications Authority, Abdullah Kamara, and the dismissal of Dor Cooper, Inspector General of Commerce, and others accused of grave act of corruption and other abuses. Speaking Tuesday at a press conference, Central Executive Director Anderson Myean called on the president to also suspend and dismiss public officials who have been or who have knowingly and recklessly refused to declare their assets, incomes, and liabilities in violation of the Code of Conduct.
To do the needful to send a stern warning against corruption and abuse of office by taking timely and decisive administrative actions against officials for wanting. The president must remove Mr. Abdullah Kamara as acting chairperson of LTA, dismiss Mr. Dor Cooper, Inspector General of the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and act against other officials accused of grave acts of corruption and other abuses. Also, the president must suspend and dismiss public officials who have knowingly and recklessly refused to declare their assets, incomes, and liabilities in violation of the Code of Conduct. Hence, they should be suspended or dismissed. Meanwhile, the president must compel his officials to comply with the mandate of the Office of the Ombudsman, show leadership by timely and decisively acting on crucial matters, including those bordering on the fight against corruption, as well as provide adequate moral and financial support to anti-graft institutions to enable them operate at full capacity.
He is the executive director of the Center for Transparency and Accountability in Liberia, Central, Anderson Myean. They're speaking during a press conference today in Monrovia. The Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs is continuing with confirmation hearings for individuals recently nominated by President Joseph Boakai to ambassadorial roles in several countries. On Tuesday, the 48th day sitting of the Senate, the committee quizzed three of the nominees: Edward Appleton, Ambassador Designate to Japan, Ali Silla, Ambassador Designate to Senegal, and Joseph Johnson to Morocco. In his opening statement, Edward Appleton vowed to work with the Japanese government to encourage investment that will accelerate Liberia's growth and development.
Liberia's interest and work with Japan and other nations to form the best partnerships to address common national and global challenges. I will be the highest ranking representative to the country and the chief diplomatic representative of the president of Liberia to Japan. I will effectively maintain mutual relations between the Republic of Liberia and Japan and other Asian countries and promote sustainable development initiatives in the best interest of Liberia.
Well, he is Liberia Ambassador Designate to Japan, Edward Appleton. They're speaking. The other two nominees, Ali Silla and Joseph Johnson, also said their representation in Senegal and Morocco will boost Liberia's bilateral relationship to enhance development.
Act of date as per the agreement and ensure that we are current in all its enforcement. We believe that there are lower hanging fruits in the name of partnership.
Well, to this development, the National Secretary General of the Liberia National Bar Association, Councillor Bono Vama, has launched his candidacy for the president of the bar. He spoke today on Truth FM, where he said, if elected, one of his top priorities will be to ensure that the Louis Arthur Graham School of Law gets autonomy.
chiefs are supposed to be elected for 6 years. Since 1985, we have not had election for chiefs in this country, and the chiefs have significantly more to play in legal education. What that means will be to advocate for the autonomy of the underground school law. It's critical. That's a very old law school. Went to that law school, we got some very serious training for that law school. But if you look at it and you compare that law school to other law schools around the world, there's a lot that we have to put into that law school. I'm quite concerned about that. The law school is part of the University of Liberia that was created by a charter. So that law school has not benefited from funding support.
Well, he also said he will focus on working with the legislature and other bodies to ensure the election of chiefs in the country to legitimize their position and ensure that they contribute to the running of the country.
Our democracy is incomplete because Article 56B of our Constitution provides that chiefs are supposed to be elected for 6 years. Since 1985, we have not had election for chiefs in this country, and the chiefs have significant role to play in our rural system. They are the main carriers, they are the main doers, they are the main actors in customary justice. But there's a question right now of whether or not they are legitimate because no minister, no president is supposed to appoint chiefs in our country. They're supposed to be elected.
Here is Councillor Bono Varman, a candidate for president of the Liberian National Bar Association, speaking on Tuesday here on the Truth Breakfast Show. Well, folks, this is how we love to come to the end of tonight's presentation of News Dex. But before we go, these are the top stories we followed. Absence of Deputy Speaker Thomas Farah in majority section today raises huge speculations as Representative Foko discloses Farah would join embattled House Speaker Fonati Kofa in the coming days. In continuous efforts to mitigate the impact of climate change, government of Liberia through the Finance Ministry launches climate integration and financing office for resource mobilization. Senator Sir Joseph proposes the establishment of what he calls a special need funds at the Ministry of Health with the allotment of $10 million United States dollars in the budget to cater to the increasing wave of emergency cases across the country. And out of Liberia, Kenya less open to visitors despite visa-free policy. The BBC is reporting. The better thanks to all of you for your listening role. Thanks to our reporters, correspondents, and all those who helped to make this edition of News Dex a success. Thanks to those who view us live on Real TV on Facebook. Naketa Roberts read for us the bulletin of news. Naomi Tapia brought out sports tonight. Daniel Suning, Sarah Control and coordinated the sounds. Myean Torgbean has been behind the cameras. Thanks to our sponsors, Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited. My name is Marka Davis. Good night.
Ria TV, True FM.
Say Ria TV, True FM.
On Ria TV,
into Truth FM 96.1.
What's the meaning of the black barrier? The black barrier is to tell Joseph Walker if you don't organize yourself in a grateful manner, we'll take your paper like
You might say what you want to say, but for us, we are here to make sure we build our country, that we are respected. We have donors that are coming because of the confidence.
Some news summary at 12. My name is Hansen there represent.
Welcome to News and Analysis 30 minutes of news presentation about Liberia, Africa, and our one world.
Presenting this newscast is proudly sponsored by Orange Liberia and EcoBank Liberia Limited.
How is life after the presidency?
But before the presidency, the same life that what you see. I live a different life. You know, when I was not president, this life that what I live. You know, with my family and
I have a lot of interest in the health sector, the educational sector, and the agriculture sector. Roads, connecting roads in this country.
Yeah, we are calling international community to come to intervene for us because, like I just stated previously, we don't know who to trust.
All always make sure to turn on to our
Real TV and listening to Truth FM 96.1.